Well, I just ran out of memory, I guess, because the camera turned off, and I just looked at what I've done. And I was ending up on the last video with breaking my brother's cap gun. And as soon as I broke it, I was horrified, and I set it down on the couch and took off. Johnny may be hearing this story for the first time. Anyway, I have much worse sins on my conscience, but I'm not going to tell you anything about those. I'm sure that if the polls show that I have any chance of making some headway in this election, they'll dig up everything that I've ever done. The third reason why I can't accept the Nicene Creed is because I read too much. You know, here's one of the copies of the Bible that I have, the New American. I also have a King James Version and a few others. You know, no matter what your creed or theology, you can find in this book the moral precepts for moral principles on which to make a righteous life. You have to dig, but you can do it, like many, many other religious books that people have written through the centuries. My favorite parts in here are Matthew chapter 6, the parts where Jesus talks about prayer, and especially Matthew 6 verse 8. Matthew 6 verse 8 says it all. God knows what you're thinking. He knows what you're doing. And you can't hide, so you better live right. And there's Luke 17:21. The Spirit of God is within you. This is where I take my inspiration from the Bible. Now, there are a lot of Christians that I consider Old Testament Christians. They are quick to judge and quick to want to impose their beliefs on others. I think the first few verses of Matthew 7 would do them some good. The thing is that the Bible is a big book with lots of stories, and interpretation is the key. I lived in Weatherford, Oklahoma, western Oklahoma, for several years. I was doing handyman work. I got laid off from my job at IBM, and I was doing handyman work, carpentry and stuff, painting, stuff like that. And there was a man and woman I did some work for, and they were members of a small storefront church in Weatherford, Oklahoma. It's a town of 5,000 people. There's at least 50 churches, and new ones starting every other week, it seems. This man and his wife were a member of a small storefront church, and maybe 20 people in the congregation. And he called me, and he wanted me to do some work. He found another storefront, and he and his wife and two other couples and their children were starting a new church. And he wanted me to do some painting and fixing things up. And I asked him, well, why did you leave that congregation? And he looked at me and he said, some people just don't know how to read the Bible. And that's the thing, especially about Protestantism. You know, the Catholic Church has things down, you know, and I imagine the High Church, the Episcopal Church and the Anglican Church have all their procedures written down. But the essence of Protestantism is that there's no priesthood between you and God. And so any lay preacher can read the Bible and pick the verses that are significant to him or her, and they can start a church. It's been done many, many, many times, and will continue to be done. Everybody's got a different way of interpreting the Holy Word. Now, the thing about the Bible, though, is that I can't believe that this is the divine Word of God. This has been the Bible that we know today. The books in this Bible were selected by bishops at the Council of Nicaea in 325 under the direction of Emperor Constantine, who actually didn't become a Christian until he was on his deathbed. He started a religion, a sun religion, called Sol Invictus, and but he did give orders that once the Council of Nicaea had selected these books, that all of the other books should be destroyed. All of the other writings, all of the other sects and different interpretations of Jesus' word and mission were to be destroyed, and they were. So, well, who knows the original story? Let me read something here. This is Colin Wilson's Criminal History of Mankind. He quotes Josephus. This is a section from Josephus that that describes the physical appearance of Jesus, because there was a wanted poster for him put out by the Romans. At this time, too, there appeared a certain man of magical power, if it is permissible to call him man, whom certain Greeks call a son of God, but his disciples, the true prophet, said to raise the dead and heal all diseases. His nature and form were human. A man of simple appearance, mature age, dark skin, small stature, 3 cubits high, which is about 5 feet, hunchbacked, with a long face, long nose, and meeting eyebrows, so that they who see him might be affrighted, with scanty hair, with a parting in the middle of the head, after the manner of the Nerites, and an undeveloped beard. Now this is the part of Josephus that Christians used to justify that he existed. Now, this was changed later to describe him with ruddy skin, medium stature, 6 feet high, well grown, with a venerable face, handsome nose, goodly black eyebrows, with good eyes, so that spectators could love him, with curly hair the color of unripe hazelnuts, with a smooth and unruffled, unmarked and unwrinkled forehead, a lovely red, blue eyes, a beautiful mouth, and a copious beard, the same color as the hair, not long, parted in the middle, arms and hands full of grace. So this is, you know, what are you going to believe? I read too much. Anyway, I've got a few other books. Got the